withdrawn. So, Nus Ghani.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I know in this place that we should recognise win, so I'm grateful that the government have accepted the principle that it cannot be unaccountable when negotiating trade deals with genocidal states. That is the proposition with the government's Neil amendment. That we have banked. But the proposed government amendment excludes the Uyghur, which makes no sense considering the very forceful statement made by the Foreign Secretary just a few hours ago. The Foreign Secretary's statement today I welcomed, especially the sanctions. We've also banked that, but the message we're sending now by denying the genocide amendment to tyrannical states is that we have a two-tier genocide system, one which the Uyghur are excluded from. In case it has to be said, Madam Deputy Speaker, I join my colleague for Chingford and Wood Green and East Worthing by formally moving my motion on the order paper today to agree with the Alton Amendment, formerly known as a genocide amendment. I regret I cannot support the government's amendment because it responds to the Uyghur crisis by producing an amendment which excludes them. The government amendment only applies to countries which are formally negotiating a free trade agreement. The genocide amendment excludes the Uyghur. Considering everything that's been said today, I really think this is a shameful way to deal with our international and national responsibilities and fundamentally sends a message that we have a two-tier system in place. I was trying to explain this to my daughter earlier on this morning, and it's like landing a position such as the government putting together a call for evidence on the violence against women and girls and saying we're not going to allow women and girls to give evidence. Let me explain. Uyghur women who are forcing sterilisations at a rate that makes The Handmaid's Tale seem a fairy tale, with a birth rate drop of 84%, a clear marker of genocide, we are saying to Uyghur women, you don't matter. Anyone else but you can present to the Select Committee.
My honourable friend, good way.
Oh, indeed.
I'm grateful to my honourable friend because not only does the government's version of legislation not cater for the Uyghurs at all, but this afternoon's announcement, welcome though it was as an extra step, doesn't include Chen Guangzhou, who, as she knows, is the chief of the Communist Party in Xinjiang, who is the author and architect of some of these genocidal activities going on and needs to be held to account.
I thank my honourable friend for that intervention, which is why I think it's so important we back the genocide amendment. We give teeth to all the statements made in the House. I know that the President of the World Uyghur Congress has written to many members and said, we do not understand why the UK government would treat us like this, he means the Uyghur, bringing forward a proposal which excludes us in response to a campaign which is all about the suffering of our people. I am grateful for how far the government has moved, but we moved too. I just wanted to ensure the Uyghur people were treated equally to everybody else facing a similar sort of plight. Today we have a historical vote on a simple question. Do we apply genocide policy equal to all people, or do we have a two-tier genocide policy now? The Board of Deputies recently wrote, we are always hesitant, extremely hesitant, to consider the comparisons with the Holocaust and notice similarities of what's happening in China to Nazi Germany. By backing the genocide amendments, we can act when we say never again, by allowing the Uyghur to be included, not excluded, from the government motion. I hope colleagues will join me in the I lobby with the genocide amendment, which really just gives further teeth to the government's earlier sanctions and tidies up a little flaw in the government's amendment which excludes the Uyghur. We cannot have a two-tier genocide process. We move so forward, let's not fall at the last hurdle. And we must and we can be on the right side of history by voting for the genocide amendment.